Oh, uh-oh. Don't adjust your dial, and we don't even have dials anymore because it's not. It's 2025 now. I'm Corey Dickman, Rip City Roundtable podcast. We're here. We're back. The preseason started yesterday. I know you haven't seen me in a while. The doctor, Aaron Brown, and I did an episode, might have been about 3 months ago, right after the draft. Had to do a draft recap. Had to talk about our Jan Hansen, who played last night for this preseason game. We'll talk about him here in a minute. But hello and welcome. If you've never watched the show, we're on YouTube, powered by Rogue Media Network. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the places. It's redundant that I'm telling you this because if you can hear this, you're clearly on one of those platforms. But you can tell your friends, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We're going to try something. I was letting producer Zach in on this, and he knows I'm not going to follow through, and I'm probably not going to follow through, but I'm going to try. We're going to try to do an episode after every game this year, including preseason games. Okay. So we're going to try. We're at least 1 for 1 here. So the Blazers kicked off the preseason last night against the Golden State Warriors. And I'm going to tell you, we looked pretty good. I know it's preseason, but not bad. Not a bad showing. Now, these aren't your older brothers, Golden State Warriors. Okay. There's no KD out here. There's no young version of Klay Thompson. But the Warriors, they're rolling out an experienced lineup. We'll call it that. Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, Al Horford, Steph Curry, Moses Moody. He's the young guy of the crew here. Not terrible. I don't know if the Golden State Warriors will make any real noise this season. I don't even know how healthy this lineup's going to be throughout the year. But for preseason game number 1, it was a good test for the Portland Trailblazers. We're going to go down a list here. I promise I'm going to keep this about 15 minutes. We got a highlight going behind us. My goal is to have this episode wrapped up by the time the highlight's done. So we're on a timer. My first point here, we're going to talk about the starting lineup. Very intriguing. There's a lot of options Coach Chauncey Billups can go with this season. For game 1, it was a little bit easier because Scoot Henderson, he's out. He was not playing. And so the starting point guard easily was Drew Holiday. So it goes Holiday, and then it went Shaden Sharp, Tumani, Jeremy Grant, and Donovan Clingan, that was the other kind of question mark. Would Clingan start? Would Jan start? It's probably going to be Clingan. He's coming back for his sophomore year. The biggest omission, no Advia. Where's Denny? He's probably the Blazers' best player right now at this point, considering offense and defense. And Denny was coming off the bench. So I don't think that's what opening night's going to be, but it was an interesting tell for first game because that's the weird spot where does Jeremy Grant start? Does Jeremy Grant come off the bench? He's a veteran on the team. He's started a lot of his career. Is he going to be okay coming off the bench? That's obvious spot. That's where Denny would be playing is in Jeremy's spot, but Jeremy started. So look into that how you will. It's an interesting starting lineup. Obviously, no Scoot either. And so that debate of Holiday or Scoot, Chauncey's probably going to have Scoot come off the bench yet again, which I think is still just a mistake because we need to know what we have in Scoot Henderson. But Drew Holiday being his 17th year, 2-time NBA champion, obviously a veteran, clearly, he got the nod, and he was okay. I think it was funny to finally see Drew Holiday in a Blazers uniform after the second time he'd been traded to us, and so but it was fun to see him play out there. It was a good lineup. Chauncey just has a lot he's going to do. They mentioned this on the broadcast. It said that Chauncey's going to do a different starting lineup every preseason game, which is probably a good idea just to see what you have. But the Blazers' best player coming off the bench for preseason game number 1, definitely something to note there. Okay. The deadly second unit. That's what I'm calling it. The deadly second unit. So our second unit in this preseason game, Chris Murray, and then the aforementioned Denny Advia, our boy Duop Reith, Jan Hansen came off the bench, and then our new guy Wesley as well. So The bench unit, not super scary in this game, and we'll talk about how the fourth quarter here in a minute. But the second unit that we project to be playing this season, where maybe you have a healthy Rob Williams, you will have Scoot Henderson back, which will either have him coming off the bench or push Holiday into the second unit. That's a nice second unit. That's a veteran second unit that could come in and not only maintain leads but extend leads, or if the starters fall behind, can close a gap. Now, health is always the question, so we'll see how we maintain, especially with the Drew Holiday, who's, like I said, year 17, Rob Williams, who is pretty much always hurt. We'll see how Jeremy Grant holds up as well. But that second unit is just terrifying, especially for a team that the Blazers aren't really on anybody's radars. I think we're plus 400 for all the people out there that love to make a good wager. We're plus 400 on DraftKings right now to make the playoffs. The Blazers are. That's wild. I mean, that means you put $100 in, you make 400. So, not great odds, but I think the Blazers are going to surprise some people, and that second unit will be a big reason why. Jan and Rob Williams, my third point here on the opening show here of the Rip City Roundtable podcast. What are the Blazers going to have as that second center coming off the bench? Rob obviously is the proven commodity. His defense is stellar. He's I mean, even offensively last year in the games he was healthy, he made a difference. Alley-oops, putbacks. Like, you don't have to run sets for him, and yet you look up and he has 12 points. So Rob is clearly the answer, but who knows about health? Jan, last night, rookie, first real game action. We won't really count summer league here. He was rough. Okay, Jan's stat line here, Jan Hansen's, 4 points, 4 rebounds. He took a couple threes. They were close, but none of them went in. 1 assist and 6 fouls in 21 minutes. Jan looked a little overwhelmed, but for a young center, that is pretty much how it goes in the NBA. There were times last year where Klingon looked a little overwhelmed too. Not as much as Jan did last night, but he still was a rookie center last year, Klingon. So this year, Jan, or this first game, he'll get his sea legs under him. He was aggressive. He didn't wallow in some of the mistakes. Every time he fouled, like he was sticking with the action. And, he was wanting foul calls. He'd see tip in, and he'd look at a ref like, what's the and one? And it's like, geez, like, rookies don't do that. And I like the attitude from him. I like the attitude from the whole team, which I'll lead to in my fourth point here. But Jan, like, he's not going to back down from people, but you could tell the speed kind of got to him a little bit. And the first time he's played with real NBA players, really. I mean, summer league, he's not doing that. And so it's interesting to see how he'll play off of that second unit, or if he's getting run in the first unit if Klingon gets in foul trouble. But that was my first observation. Not a terrible start for him. I'm not saying, oh my gosh, worst opening preseason game ever for a rookie, but you could tell a little overwhelmed. But it's hard. You got Al Horford on the other side. You got Trace Jackson, who is a great backup for Golden State. And it's Golden State. Like, they know what they're doing. They have an experienced head coach. They have Steph Curry on the court. So this isn't playing, the Toronto Raptors. So I want to see more from Jan, and then hopefully we get a healthy Rob Williams as the year goes on. I think that will be key if the Blazers are going to be in contention, possibly for that play-in or more. We got to have some Rob Williams, which is probably asking for a lot. The fifth point, I'm going to talk about Shaedon. I think it's easy for the spotlight to be on Shaedon Sharpe, especially in this first game, because if the Blazers are going to make that leap, he has to make that leap. We know he can leap, figuratively, he can leap, but can he make the jump from where he was last year, mediocre to bad defensive player to good to maybe great, who knows? And offensively, the word of the day for on Sesame Street is efficiency. We need efficiency from Shaedon Sharpe, and we got that last night. Shaedon finished the game 9 for 15 from the field, 4 for 8 from the 3-point line. I spoke with Scott Lauer. He earlier today on the phone. He used to be the radio play-by-play for the Charlotte Hornets. And I told him I had a beef with Fitzgerald, the play-by-play guy for the Golden State Warriors TV team. Man, that guy, he got Shaden's name wrong. He called him Shadon Sharp. Like, what are we doing? Shadon. And then Shaden made his first 2 threes, and they looked good. I'm going to tell you, they looked good. And this guy's acting like, oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever. They like Shaden was a 5% 3-point shooter, and now he just hit 2. It's like the luckiest thing ever. They was ridiculous. But Shaden has to show up, and he did last night. And I know it's one game and it's a preseason game, so overreaction Thursday here. But we got to start somewhere, and in order to see progress, there has to be a really good first game. So I liked where Shaden was at. 23 minutes, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a very efficient night from Shaden. Make the leap, Shaden, and I think the Blazers make the leap. My 6th point, Chris Murray. Where am I at here on the thing? Oh, we're almost at the end of the highlight. We got to hurry. Chris Murray, he looked good last night. I think this is the proving year for Chris. Obviously, this is not a big profound statement. Chris Murray has to do something impactful this year for the Blazers, or he's probably not going to be on the team next year. He looked okay last night. He played within himself. He looks like he bulked up, got a little bigger. We know he can shoot the 3, but can he handle? Can he pass? Can he be involved, in rebounds and kind of do the nitty-gritty stuff? And I think Chris showed some of that last night. We'll see how that goes. Chris can be a big part of that second unit that I mentioned earlier. He's just got to jump into it. He's got to be into it. He's got to make the leap. He's got to be within himself. No turnovers. Don't be afraid of a missed shot, Chris. You miss your first shot. Don't just not shoot anymore. Keep shooting. You're a good shooter. And then the last point I'll make based on this first game was toughness. I saw toughness last night. You're going to say first preseason game, Corey, you're out of your mind. You can't see that stuff in the first preseason game. Oh, we can, and I did. Tumani leads the way. Klingon ain't messing around. Drew Holiday sets a tone. Jeremy Grant's vet. Like, they were out there to play. And when you see guys like Al Horford and Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, they're all playing, and those guys will get in your face too. I think the Blazers stepped up. The score, if you were wondering, you go look at the box score. You'll see the Blazers lost by 6, 129-123. Again, it's preseason. The score does not matter. What's interesting to me was the score heading into the fourth quarter. 97-78 Portland. Portland was up 21 points heading into the fourth quarter, and that's when the white flag came out. All the main guys that you know and love stopped playing. Caleb Love comes in. Ryan Rupert, we need to see more of you, by the way. Duop Reith was still getting some play. Sidney Sissoko, he was out there. Great summer league by Sidney, by the way. But these guys played the fourth quarter, and the Blazers blew a 21-point lead, ended up surrendering 51 points in the fourth quarter to the backups Golden State Warrior team, LJ Cryer and Will Richards. These are guys that played in the Final Four last year for Houston and for Florida. So they're clearly not scrubs. And they took advantage of the Blazers in the fourth quarter. So we end up losing by 6, but that's not indicative of when the game actually kind of mattered and when the people that were actually playing mattered. The Blazers were up 21 points. And honestly, it wasn't even that close. The Blazers were hitting threes. They were tough. They were in the face of the Warriors. And if that was a regular season game, I think Portland wins that going away. But it was because of the toughness. It was the not backing down. Denny comes in, and he's still just like he finished last season, just rolling into people, drawing fouls, not taking anything. So anyway, I loved what I saw. Preseason, game 1. This is a long road. This is a marathon. We got to pace ourselves and keep in mind where the Blazers were last year and where we're trying to get to. Obviously, I haven't mentioned Mr. Dame Lillard. He's not going to play this year, right? He's not going to play. Got to rehab. And so he's not on. He's leading. He's coaching from the sideline, all that kind of stuff. Let's temper expectations, but I am excited, and I think this is a good product on the court. I think if you, as a fan, maybe you've been away from the team a couple of years because Lillard hasn't been there, or maybe the Blazers, we're not contending. I'm not going to watch. Maybe a fair weather fan, which I'm not dogging. I get it. This would be a season to potentially jump back in. I think you'll like what you see. I think this team cares. There's hustle. There's camaraderie. It's fun. It's a great brand of basketball, and they play defense. That is what is awesome about this team. That'll be the calling card all season long, will be the defense. So jump back in, enjoy the season, enjoy Rip City Roundtable podcast, Rogue Media Network here. We got Z, as he's known around these circles, producing the show. So anyway, we thank you guys. Like I said, keep it quick, 20 minutes. I'm not going to keep you long. Give you a quick recap in case you missed the game. These are my thoughts. I'm not always right, but sometimes I'm not always wrong either. So who knows? Thank you all so much. Rip City Roundtable Podcast. Like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the places. We appreciate it. And as our good late buddy Brian Wheeler used to say, it's a great day to be a Blazer.